Dogs barked, tearing through the woods. Horse hooves pounded against the earth. A search patrol was on her trail. Sarah clutched the pouch slung across her body closer as she ran. The only thing she knew to do now was run, and pray that she did not get caught. The horses were getting closer. She could hear their hooves drumming in her ear. She almost tripped on a bunch of intertwined roots. All she could hear was her heartbeat, pounding loudly in her ear as she picked herself up and continued on her way, prowling through the dense vegetation, breathing hard, glancing back surreptitiously, and clinging onto the hope that maybe she might make it past this night. Maybe she could be free. Her pursuers followed the trail of the depraved hound dogs. She couldn't outrun them, not like this. She recalled grandma's words. She needed to act now to save herself. She could not afford to get caught. The dread of what they might do to her was just too much. They would have her stripped and beaten. And if Massa McAllister was in a good mood, he could sell her to a worse slave owner out of spite. He was a very spiteful man. Not that anyone accused him of kindness, but he could be a lot worse when angered. She didn't fear for herself as much as she feared for her sisters. It wasn't difficult to imagine the evil he would do to hurt her or her sisters. The pitiful bastard had once sold off Brody's whole family, leaving him alone on the farm as punishment for his disobedience. The other day, Creek lost his ear for letting a horse run wild in the fields. He was barely 10. Word was that one of the McAllister boys had thought it was a good way to teach the young boy a lesson he'd never forget. For a child, Creek had been unbreakable until that moment. Losing his ear broke his spirit. He now roamed around like nothing more than an empty soul pulling carts and waiting to die. McAllister and the brood of devils he had for sons were a constant menace, seeking ways to make the slaves more miserable than they already were. She feared James especially. He had always wanted to hurt her for constantly rejecting him. No, she couldn't afford to go back there. The dog barks grew louder. She stopped close to a tree. It seemed like the perfect spot to hide. She almost jumped as a twig snapped under her weight. She had to be quick. It was hard to recall all the details, but she knew she had to be quick. She had to do this fast. The dogs charged forward, tracking her scent.